All right, welcome back to the realm of history. Tonight we got last live review of the semester for the quiz papers. I have our final quiz of the marking period and semester tomorrow on chapter 16, Native American societies and peoples of Mesoamerica and even South America when you talk about the Inca. So we're going to get ourselves ready for that. I would like to remind you that the Cocoa Bombs, one of my sponsors, Cocoa Bomb Shop, they are on sale right now. It's the holiday season, so it's a nice little gift. You can get six cocoa bombs, 12 cocoa bombs. Give it to someone that can make hot chocolate. They're really kind of nifty. They have marshmallows and other hidden gems on the inside. So you pour hot water over it, and it creates a nice little hot chocolate drink for you there. The Aztec, by the way, and the Maya, hot chocolate was like a delicacy to them. Montezuma II, who we learned about, drank a lot of hot chocolate. It was one of his favorite drinks. Nonetheless, if you are here, please check in with me in the comments. Let me know that you're here. There was a high correlation last chapter 15 with students who were attending the live review and high scores. We had really good scores on that quiz, and I think there was a nice correlation between those that were in attendance and checked in, and those that were not didn't do so well. Kind of a 2 point swing. So that's something I think is important for me to be able to chart. Looks like tonight we only have about 58, so numbers are down, and I'm actually really nervous about tomorrow's quiz for you guys. It's pretty standard quiz, but most of them are pretty challenging. I just thought the focus today and the last few days has been pretty suspect. I think seemed like a lot of people didn't do the reading. A lot of people didn't do the AMSCO yet, which is understandable, but I feel like this being the last quiz, you're going to have to put some better time and effort in to getting ready. So, I'm going to do my best to get you there tonight. To get started, I'd like to go over some key advice. Then we'll go over some selected key terms. I already talked about the short answer today in class. I'm not going to talk about that much. I may or may not go over some key textbook pages. I'll give you some AP advice today. And then, of course, I'll open up for questions and answers. At this time right now, I would like to go over some key advice. Like I said, I'm really worried about tomorrow's quiz for you. I feel like the focus, the be here now mentality has not been there. It's been rather lacking. So I think tonight you want to make the best of your time here. Make sure that you study your notes, read your notes several times through. I think you should read those maybe a couple times before you go to bed tonight. Tomorrow morning, if you have me in the later hours, read those at seminar time. I think that would be very important. Read those at lunch. Those are some of my big suggestions. Students who write things down from these sessions seem to be very prepared and do usually very well. I want to remind you to pray for the right things, though. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's the last quiz of the marking period, it's the last quiz of the semester in this class, it's an AP class. Don't forget what's most important. And instead of praying for good results in this quiz, just ask the good Lord to guide you to use your talents to the fullest. That's all you can really ever do. And that's all I can ask of you. I just hope that we're putting forth our best effort. I also like to remind you to be here now. I think tomorrow more than ever, like, you got to come in with a focused mindset and the ideology of telling yourself that you're going to do good. You got to visualize yourself performing well on the quiz. I think that's really helpful. Finally, your parents do so much for you. And I say this every week, but you should go and say thank you to your parents. You should express your gratitude and say the prayer of gratitude for all the blessings that you have in the world. The fact that we're talking about this quiz tonight and other people in the world, we know what they're going through and what they don't have and what you have. I think you got to be grateful there and express that gratitude to your parents. Tell them that you love them. Tell them, thank you for everything that they do. Finally, look, hey, a lot of people have been whining about the workload in the class, whining about the challenge, but I think you should embrace the challenge. I mean, challenging things are good. Challenging things are going to prepare you for life, and it's good to have challenges. You got to challenge yourself, and I'm hoping that this class is challenging you, and you take it with the idea of, hey, this is getting me better. This is making me work. I have to put in time. That's teaching me good habits, and that's what it's all about. All right, with that being said, I'm going to get into some selected key terms and figures. I just added a few based on what the questions were coming at me today. So I'm going to start with the Hohokam. Hohokam is really like the first agricultural tribe of the Southwest. Agriculture in the Southwest was really difficult because it's mostly desert, right? So they used irrigation. And with that, they were able to grow crops like corn, beans, and squash. Now, I think it's one of the most important things to know that they were the earliest and very successful in this region with agriculture. And they were influenced by the Anasazi. And one of the key things you got to remember is that they used irrigation. Since I mentioned the Anasazi, let's go there. This is a very early culture of the Four Corners area: Utah, New Mexico, Colorado. Okay. The people built huge cliff dwellings and apartment style dwellings known as pueblos. Okay. Dwellings are homes. So they built them into the side of cliffs. I had a big picture on the smartboard in class that kind of showed you this on the day that we did section 1. A lot of questions about the Plains and Mountains tribes. This is due to the fact that you didn't do your reading. If you read closely, the Plains and Mountain tribes are talked about in there as having a trade relationship with the groups of the Southwest. If you want to know the tribal names, it's the Comanche, the Kiowa, even the Sioux tribe are all Plains and Mountain tribal associations. Next is the Eastern Woodlands peoples. This is a group of tribes. They would be from the Eastern Great Lakes region, the Midwest, even along the East Coast, the East Atlantic coast. In class, we use the Iroquois as an example of an Eastern Woodlands tribe. Moving on down the list here, we're going to go to the Iroquois League. The Iroquois League is actually an alliance of 5 tribes: the Mohawk, the Oneida, the Onondaga, the Cayuga, and the Seneca. I taught you to remember Moocs, Moocs, to remember those 5 tribes. The reason that it was created was to promote joint defense and trade, and it was formed by a chief named Chief Hiawatha, who's also on your review sheet at a later point. From section 4, which you had the homework on, there's a term called ALU. This is a term that the Inca utilized. It's a small group structure, and they used it for community work projects. So kind of like family networks, like a group of families that work together to get certain projects throughout the Inca Empire done. Next is a term called the Mita. The Mita is an Incan labor tribute system. So like everybody was required to serve a certain amount of time for the government doing work projects like what the ones that the ALU would do. The Quipu was an Incan device that was a series of strings, and they had different colored strings, and then they would count things and record data by putting knots. Like let's say they're counting population, and let's say that every knot stands for 1,000 people, for example. That was one of their early forms of record keeping. Another thing that was kind of confusing is that there's Pueblo buildings, and then there's also Pueblo native tribes. So you got to know both. The Pueblo natives are just a group of people that came after the Anasazi. Pueblo buildings are apartment-style complexes made out of stone and adobe, and they were built by the Anasazi. Next is a key term called the Triple Alliance. The Triple Alliance was basically the Aztecs of Tenochtitlan, and they joined with the city-states of Texcoco and Tlacopan to create an even stronger empire. I mentioned Chief Hiawatha earlier. Chief Hiawatha was the chief that was responsible for creating the Iroquois League. If you really want to know more about him, not that this will be on the quiz, but Chief Hiawatha was of the Mohawk tribe himself, and he was very beneficial in putting that together. Pachacuti was talked about in section 4. He's one of the earliest Incan leaders, emperors. He quickly expanded the Inca Empire, and so it was under his control that the Inca Empire expanded. Next is a Incan ruler named Atahualpa. Atahualpa was the ruler of the Inca when they were invaded by the Spanish. Also of note is that he's the guy who defeated his brother Huascar in a civil war. So there was Huayna Capac. He had 2 sons. He divided his empire to his 2 sons. They then fought over it. Atahualpa defeats Huascar, his brother, to take over. Okay, those are the key terms and key figures that I wanted to go over with you. Now I have some AP advice. very simple. Here's what I'm going to say about the AP. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I hope you did the reading on topic 1.4. The MCQs, there's going to be two versions tomorrow, okay? What's happening, I'm just going to be honest with you, what's happening is students are memorizing the letter sequence and like they write it down on their desks and I see it, which is not very smart because you're obviously cheating. But like last week it was BCB, right? And everybody was kind of memorizing that and they wrote it on their desk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two versions. I'm going to make one version in the morning, one version in the afternoon. They're going to be different. So one is going to be about a tribal association from either Mesoamerica or South America. So you need to know the Maya, the Inca, the Aztec. The other one is going to be directly from AMSCO topics. So, studying and reading the AMSCO would be my best suggestion for you there. One version is going to have 3 questions. The other one's going to have 4 or 5. Probably going to give the harder version to the afternoon, to be honest with you, because the morning kids, they don't have the advantage of talking to all their friends and getting all the information of what's on the quiz. So the afternoon people have that advantage. I know that's what goes on. So I'm going to give them the harder version. Okay, now we'll go into question and answer session. I'm going to go looking at the comments. I see a lot of people have checked in, which I really appreciate. Thank you for being here. Oh, now this is funny. Langel's hair routine, Master Blaze Kroll. Wow. Where'd you get that photo? That's kind of an interesting one. Wow. That's funny. I love it. Very funny. Nice job. Okay, a lot of people checking in. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a shout out there. Any questions that you guys have? All right, here's one. What is Huitzilopochtli? Well, Huitzilopochtli was the Aztec god of sun and war. The vast majority of Aztec human sacrifice went to Huitzilopochtli. Who is Huascar? Huascar was Atahualpa's brother, and he's the son of Huayna Capac. He got defeated in the Civil War by Atahualpa, and he was killed. So that's all you really need to know about Huascar. Fort. Oh, no, I was very big. I went from teaching all day straight to track weight room, which was great. It was the best part of my day. So that made me happy. Then after that, I went to my daughter's volleyball. I coached my daughter's 4th grade volleyball team. So coached that. Just recently got home from that and got ready for this. So I've been pretty tired and I don't think I'm going to stay up to play any video games tonight. Yes, Aubrey, this is the last quiz of the semester. Jitter Dangles. Hopefully you guys won tonight. I wasn't able to check the score. Hopefully you had a good game. Kwakiutl is a Pacific Northwestern tribe. So they would have practiced the potlatch. They would have been people who hunted whale, like we talked about in section 1. Okay, Madeline K. The city of Tenochtitlan was the Aztec capital city. It's that city that I had on the screen not today, but yesterday. And it was like an island. It had those big long bridges that you could get on and off. Yes, you need to know the mound builders. The mound builders are the Adena and the Hopewell. So they are on the review sheet down toward the bottom of the key terms. So yes, they will be assessed. Memorize the people that, yeah, I did totally tell you to know the 5 tribes of the Iroquois League. Master John Brown representing Novi. What is the city Uxmal? Uxmal was one of the main Incan cities. It was located in the western part of the Yucatan, and it's just one of the key, very heavily populated Mayan city-states. Yes, Sam, you do. So I had you guys write in the notes. The name of it was Poktatok, and you kind of know like the implications of it. Remember that some players were sacrificed at the end, and it was kind of symbolic of the planets and the movements of the star of the not the stars, but the sun and the moon. Quetzalcoatl theory is probably too long to explain. If you look at your section 3 notes, it's the story that I told that had 11 to 14 points. It was the first part of section 3 handout notes that we went over yesterday. And it talks about Tepoztlán Quetzalcoatl and how he left, and it was prophesied that he would one day return. And so it became an Aztec theory. And when the Spanish show up, they believe that the Aztec believe that the Spanish may be returning gods based on the Quetzalcoatl theory. So that is listed in the notes section 3. Any one, Carly, that's on the review sheet, any ones that I highlighted in the notes, you should know. Yes. Oh my goodness. Hey, Caroline is back. Welcome back. We missed you. Yeah. Well, welcome back. My live reviews help you. I hope so. Do you have AP World? I'm not sure, but I'm glad that they're having a benefit for you. Thank you. Sam, you want to know that? Yeah. Basically, you want to know the scale or scope of the sacrifices. Mayans, not as many, maybe less than 100 to 100 per week. Aztec, maybe thousands at some times of the year per week. Okay. I think I answered all the real questions so far. I did answer Uxmal already. Key places, you're going to want to know the ones that are on the list. The ones that are on the review sheet titled key places, those are the ones that you need to focus on. Well, everything that was in the notes, Master Harrington, there are a couple sections that talk about Tenochtitlan, talks about the marketplace, talks about Chinampas, talks about the causeways, how to get on and off, talks about being the Aztec capital city. So all of those things that are in that section 3 note handout, that's what you need to focus on there. Yeah, snakes and jaguars, from my experience and my reading and myself visiting Chichen Itza, they seem to be two groups, two animals that the Mayans kind of had an infatuation with. Yeah. So for the Kwakiutl, the Nootka, and the Haida, you can lump them together as Pacific Northwestern tribes. So yeah, they're all pretty much the same. I just put them on there so you'd know, like if there's a question that asks you, this was a tribe of the Pacific Northwest, you would know which ones they are. Yeah. So there's your answer for Nootka. Nootka's a tribe of the Pacific Northwest. All right. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes. If there are any other questions or comments. No, John, you don't need to know the differences. I didn't cover the difference. I didn't get that in depth on it. You just need to know that they're all Pacific Northwestern tribes. Okay, good question so far. A Fortnite tag. I don't know what that is. I see some questions about a Fortnite tag. I don't know. I don't quite know what that is. I'm not very good at the Fortnite. I tried it though. Seems like I thought it was going to be kind of like a history game, kind of like Call of Duty, but it's not really. It's a little different. It's kind of like the Civ project. It's a little bit like the Civ project. Morgan Montezuma was the final emperor of the Aztec Empire. Well, actually, he wasn't the final, but he was the emperor when the Spanish arrived and during the decline of the Aztec peoples. I don't really know what a Fortnite tag is. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referencing there. I don't know. I don't know much about the new type of games. I used to play like NCAA football on the PlayStation a long time ago, but I'm kind of a rookie at the new type of games. Joey, the what do we need to know about the Pueblo Indians? Well, basically that they came after the Anasazi and they kind of were from the Southwest. That's really all you need to know. Bird, would there be a question related to the bird noises? Uh, oh, you mean like when you clap your hands and it reverberates off the pyramid? No, I'm not gonna. I was just giving you some extra history. Main points for the Spanish. I didn't put them on the review sheet, so I'm not sure. I mean, you just need to know how they related to the decline of the Aztec and the decline of the Inca. Hopewell is a mound building tribe from Ohio. They made large earthen mounds where they would bury their dead. Huayna Capac was the father of Atahualpa and Huascar. So he's the guy who divided his empire to his two sons and then they fought over it. Main differences between the Maya and the Aztec. I mean, there's a good chart at the end of the book, guy. It's on page 466. It's a visual summary. I think probably that would be my best reference right there. So I think that's one of the big ideas that I would suggest there, studying the chart on page 466. Yeah. Well, Gia, the first one says be able to compare the Aztec, Inca, Maya. So understanding the rise and the decline, those charts there, I think would be good. I mean, it's not going to be on the quiz, Sam. It just kind of is a symbolic idea of how they performed human sacrifice. Did the Spanish call? No, they did not. I made that very clear in section 2. I said, remember in the 1500s, the Spanish arrived, but the Mayans had already been in a state of decline. I mean, exactly what it says in the chart. That's what I would know. Exactly what those charts at the end of each section talk about for that question. Okay, I think I am pretty much done. I don't have anything else to add except for, hey, study the notes, use the review sheet to quiz yourself, get some good rest. Make sure that you thank your parents. Don't forget to do that and be here now tomorrow. Remember that the year it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So focus on the big picture and trying to get yourself ready for the AP exam. I did put, what's the 3 dots? Somebody explain in the comments the 3 dot stuff. I did put on the Realm of History Instagram, Realm of History Instagram page, I put a poll up about next week. I'm I'm very I'm in a big debate in my mind and pondering, like, should I go into chapter 17 next week, even though we're not going to be able to have a quiz on it, or should I just take the whole week and review for the midterm? I usually don't take the whole week, though. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of pondering that. Not that your vote is going to like make up my mind, but I'd like to see what your guys' thoughts are. I do take your thoughts into consideration. I'm not going to say that like the vote is going to determine my decision, but it gives you a chance to at least voice your opinion. Yeah, this is what I mean by the three dots, Gia. See that? Like people are putting those in the comments, and I'm not sure what that means. Hi, how are you? I hope all is well. Yes, Jisinj. I don't know. That's a weird name. But hey, you do you, man. Okay. I think I'm good to go. I want to wish you a great night. Thank you for joining. God bless all of you. Hey, I really do care about you, and I hope that you do well in this quiz. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here trying to help you out tonight. So hopefully it was helpful. If you come up with any further questions, you can always email me, and we can go from there. Have a great night. God bless. Peace.